Okay, so here's an update video since I forgot to take a video after I pretty much finished. I don't know if I did, but we'll do it again just in case. So here is the stage, and it's a 20 by 10 foot stage, and it's pretty much all done, at least for now. I ended up doing some additional reinforcement on this back part. It's already pretty well supported, but I wanted to kind of beef it up so there's never any chance of any issues. And feels pretty good, feels pretty solid, no issues there. And the one thing that I like is, you know, with this center part, it's above the ground, so water can still rush under there and make it to the back drain. And part of finishing that up was just being able to kind of clean things up. All these piles are all gone. I just have one little pile left over there. And let's see. So I will also show something over here that I finished up yesterday. I've done it before, but it needed to get redone. So I was able to redo this showcase planter, and I changed the angles not as steep because before I wanted to kind of showcase it, and so this angle was a lot steeper. So anytime you would water things, it would just wash out. And so that is all completed. I beefed up these front casters, so they take the weight a lot better. And it's also planted and seeded. Let's see, this is planted and seeded. It's got mulch on it. There's a lot of mulch starting to go down over here because as I weed and clear things out that need to get cleared out, then I can mulch it and it looks way better. But still a lot of stuff that needs to happen. Let's see, on this side, before I show this tarp section, I ended up cutting back some of this grass here, and I think I'm going to end up putting a little one of the benches right here. So you create this little kind of secret alcove that looks really nice in the spring with all the leaves coming out. I've been able to clear so much of this decking that I'm really starting to make some headway with clearing out this area. I already moved our aquaponics supplies over here because they will eventually be, the fish tank will be in this back area eventually as I get rid of the rest of this decking or move it. And as we come back out here, this whole area is currently tarped because I'm trying to let all the weeds and stuff die off without getting sunlight. And so at some point I will take this off and do a little update on what's going on here, because there's definitely some plans in the works. Same thing with this area here. I ended up moving that wheel, conduit wheel, over there by the large swing gate. So I think that's probably where it will stay. It's kind of a nice little table that you can put stuff down as you enter the space. I've got my boards cut for this chessboard installation. So I did the calculations because there's 64 squares on the chessboard, and based off of these boards that are 5.5 inches wide, and 2 boards is 11, and so 8 by 8 is 64, and 8 times 11 is 88. So it's basically 88 inches by 88 inches. So eventually when it gets put together, you could probably tape it off and actually stain the different squares that need to get stained. I have all of my crossboards installed on this. This is a little tricky because every time I try to work on it, it's a little bit too windy, and these boards are basically wind sails, and they catch a little bit of wind and they're really difficult to install if it's just you. So I kind of have to wait until there's practically no wind to do that. I might try to do some today before I leave. I might try to do some tomorrow, depending on the wind situation. It's not terrible right now, but there is a slight breeze. But it's usually the gusts that kind of make it worse. But this has been my project the past 2 days. This is our west greenhouse, and so I ended up installing our tabletop benchtop workstation. And how I did this was I ended up installing a ledger board on this 2x4 framing on the opposite side, and had these supporting joists, and then this header right here, this front like ledger board, I guess. And it was essentially a floating shelf because of the ledger boards, which is nice. You know, there's one of them. But I ended up adding more, couple 4x4 supports, you know, just to take extra weight, just depending. So this is a sturdy thing. Probably have a couple people sit on there, no issues. And what's nice about it is that you have this workstation and plenty of underspace to store things, you know, like that. I do just have to do rip one piece of board, install in the back, and you can see what I did. I used more of that 3M tape here, just to kind of protect the wood underneath. And because eventually this will probably be like a misting greenhouse, so there will be misters and sprinklers, so there will be like tropical plants in here. So I want to make sure these are the old pressure treated boards that I've been using, but I wanted to make them last, since these gaps are going to collect water. And you know, if there's water on this, I'd rather have it sit on this tape or run off and save those boards as long as possible. And my other idea is actually framing a door back here. The way that they install these clear panels, it actually breaks right there, which is perfect, because I could take these 2 panels off and frame in a door, make a door, put hinges on it, even a lock, and then it would function as a back door. Because the biggest issue with this greenhouse and the other one over there is that they get extremely hot, and eventually we might install some fans so that we can get some of that hot air out. But in the meantime, I think it would be a much more usable workspace if you can open up the front door and the back door and get a nice breeze in here when you need to cool things down. Besides that is pretty much it. I'm gonna see what else I can do before it's time to kind of pack things up. Garden's doing great. I've done a lot of mulching. I still need to weed this section here, and some of this stuff is okay. You know, I'm gonna leave that plant. I need to figure out what that is, but a lot of these barrels have been planted with flower seeds, so hopefully we'll start getting those coming up in the next, you know, 30 days or so. And you know, this whole area has been mulched. The beds, besides these, since they're pretty full, but the other grow beds over here have been mulched, so everything looks a lot better than it did. This back area has been mulched, so that's kind of the end for this area. And so yeah, just got a couple more things to try to continue to weed, and I'm gonna start trying to think of the planter bed system I'm gonna try to put here, you know, and then we'll kind of go from there.